I've discovered a new rating for films. It's called FA. I'm Jackie.
The time Sam picked a porno of ugly people. I'm Justin.
You're doing it wrong again. I'm Sam, and this is... What is the name of the movie? Hell and what?
Hell Behind Bars.
Hell Behind Bars on Stinker Madness.
Hello, welcome to Stinker Madness. I think that's 3 weeks in a row that everybody who picked their movie forgot the name of their movie and had to be reminded of what it was. So good, good. Jackie's rubbing off on us. She's finally she's brought Sam and I's level down to her, which is where her villainous plan the whole time.
Or are you guys just rising to my level?
No, because we're getting worse at being podcasters.
I beg to differ.
I'm counting this as a lone incident with me because I just immediately regretted my decision. It seemed like a really good idea. Like, I watched the first 20 minutes of this last night and I was like, oh, this is hot shit. And I'll just, I was drunk. So this happens as I'm like, apparently no escape, because that's what we were supposed to do this week, was on the Roku channel, but it's impossible to actually gauge what is actually on that without turning on the Roku, and there was baseball on, so I couldn't do anything about that.
Yeah,
and
couldn't be bothered.
It seemed like it's not, and I also found out that they're re-releasing it on Blu-ray in October, so I actually pre-ordered it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We won't get to watch
it. But what that probably means is that rip of the movie, that image, will be made available a month or so after the Blu-ray comes out. One of the services is going to pick it up, so we'll be able to do it then.
Okay.
And I'll have a special edition version of it.
All right.
And Just Watch didn't even know that movie existed. There's like a number of little write-ups, like Letterboxd, or somebody had one that was like the best movie you've never seen, and I've really liked it for a lot of years. I used to have it on VHS, but I'm excited about the widescreen version that I've never seen.
All right. Well,
instead, Amazon had put this thing in front of me, and I started watching it, and I was like, it had like, the dialogue had shades of Secret Agent Super Dragon, and it was like heavy on bad sex, and I was like, this is going to be good. And so I pulled the trigger, and well, yeah.
Here we are. It's not where I wanted to be.
Fuck drunk Sam.
The point in my life, I've made some bad choices that got me here today. If I had to do it over again, I would have changed some things. I don't know what. I guess I would have had to fire Sam from my life.
Yeah.
One day you're going to cost me a lot of torture for the period of an hour and 22 minutes. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to move on.
This was only 95 minutes long.
Oh, that IMDb says an hour and 22. So whatever.
It's 95.
Okay. It was short. It's got
Thank
that.
God.
Yeah, it's got
You
that.
want me to drop the biggest bomb on this that I found out after I picked it and watched the movie all the way through?
Hit me with your fat man, little boy.
Ajita Wilson. Who is that? That's the star.
Okay. Conchita.
Yeah, she's post-op transsexual.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea. I mean, her boobs were weird, but
yeah, they didn't
like,
do a good
ring
job.
Any bells? I feel like if that's what the work they were doing in the 70s, that's a pretty good job.
Well,
isn't it? I don't have a lot of basis for comparison. I'm going to be real honest with you.
I've seen fake boobs. Those were bad fake boobs. Total Northwesters. They had a bad shape to them, which makes me worry about what happened downstairs. Because downstairs requires a lot more specialization to do that surgery than to stuff some goo in a lady's chest, right?
Yeah.
So, yikes.
But at the same time, like, if it's a slender man and starts out with, there's not any room to jam those things into, so that was probably the problem there. Either way, if you wanted to find out, apparently before 1978, Ajita Wilson did do hardcore pornography.
Boy.
The person who's so inclined, they could, do that if they wanted to,
good.
Probably with the internet. I'm good, too.
I'm good.
After 1978, she did crap like this, and then got killed in a car accident in 87.
Oh, wow. So only 3 years after this movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, this wasn't a 70s movie?
No, this was 84.
Jesus
This
Christ.
is a piece
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah.
This thing.
I thought this was like maybe early to mid 70s exploitation
It-
film.
No, it's Jackie. It's just a piece of shit.
It's what you get when you shoot with a 70. I mean, they shot it with a CP16. I mean, it just reeks of CP16 on the film footage. So that, I mean, it was shot with a camera from the 60s and 70s. So,
Right.
and yeah, the grain is terrible. I mean, maybe that's the secret. If you want to make a convincing transsexual, just photograph it with a 16 millimeter.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't know. But yeah, it was not filmed well. The guy that directed it.
Uh-huh. Now, hold on. Let's not move on from Ajita here
Okay.
for a second.
Okay, we'll keep on Ajita.
Let's just say that in today's modern society, we're not exactly the most accepting of transgendered people. We're trying, but we're not there. 1984 was very much not. Did everyone know?
There's this like zapping with the tranny. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, I mean, is she Liberace? Like, what? No way.
I don't know. I mean, this is what I found out is what I told you. And
Okay.
I mean, she was popular in the pornos, I guess. But again, not enough that she ended up having to do movies in Italy that were like this one.
Yeah.
Like this one here.
Okay.
This is not a good movie.
I just wonder, like, did Robbie? I'm gonna go ahead and say the actor that's Robbie. Not to mention they're Italians, and not to throw your people under the bus, Sam. And also, I guess I'm kind of being racist as well. But Italians are notoriously like not down with gay people and transsexuals. I
don't know.
Why
I
don't
thought
you move up to France, you fancy pants? You know.
Yeah, and like Rome is pretty footloose and fancy free with their sexuality, I thought.
Yeah. Well,
This is probably shot in Rome, so.
yeah, I'm talking about the masses of Italy. I don't know. It just seems like, you
You
know,
mean the Catholics?
I'm surprised that I'm really surprised that this person was acting and making out with dudes in 1984 and used to be, well, never was, but had gentleman's sausage.
Had a man sausage.
Yeah.
The
Then didn't.
and then didn't.
Yeah. So it seems very progressive for.
I mean, I feel like they did a good job casting to make her look more attractive. The other girls were like, I think the hottest girl was the
Yeah.
blonde one that didn't take her shirt off, that sort of only got involved in the caper at the end. I was like, what were you doing with this one this whole time? You're pulling the shirts off these ladies?
And
This one's over here. What are you doing here?
I'm going to unbesmirch your people, Sam. Even though there's an asterisk there because you're actually Sicilian. Italy is kind of notorious for being filled with beautiful women. Did you go outside when you wanted to cast and be like, nope, I don't like any of these gorgeous ladies?
They were in movies that weren't piles of shit.
Monica Bellucci's like, oh, thank God I didn't talk to that guy.
Oh, yeah, she's super hot. Not in this movie.
Not in this movie. All right, what else can you tell us about it, Sam?
Was the warden
This I
actually a
cannot
man?
confirm or deny because I was able to. I can't stand behind this being a fact, but it's possible because the timeline and its filming locations line up. And it is credited on IMDb, but I'm skeptical heavily that the woman, Linda Jones, that plays Terry,
Okay.
is Chal Bacan in Star Wars.
Who?
The snitch. That's supposedly the same person.
With or without makeup? Which movie did she wear makeup in?
I think her face isn't a rubber mask with like a weird mosquito hose on it. So.
Did you watch this movie, Sam? Because that's what they all look like, is people in rubber masks with mosquito meshes on top of it.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Jackie, who's the most unattractive person in this film?
The warden.
The warden's pretty rough.
Well, when she has her hair back,
Uh-huh.
I thought she was a man.
Okay.
She was very mannish.
A bit mannish.
Yeah. And I thought there was going to be a twist in there where, she's in there raping the prisoner women, right? Because everybody thinks that she's a lady, but really she's got a sausage.
Right. Okay.
And she's giving all the ladies the business in the prison.
That would have at least been something.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Right.
That was not this movie. But then when she lets her hair down, it really softens her features and she looks like a lady.
Kind of.
And it was really off-putting.
It was a wig, I think.
I think it might have been a wig. It's a Faradu. She had a Faradu.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that softened her features was when the camera panned down and you could only see her boobs.
I like
it. Naked. I was like, those are the bosoms of a woman. I can tell.
Sort of.
Maybe it's
Mostly?
a 16 millimeter. I'm having a hard time sorting out what's what here.
Yeah, it is. I think Terry's pretty unattractive. Conchita's not great. Rose, I mean, all these ladies that have lesbian scenes.
Rosie looks like a little boy.
Right?
Until she takes her shirt off. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
How long? Chain Heat was before this, right?
It had to be.
Yeah, and like that's a hot women in prison movie. Like that's the model for women in everything else is a knockoff of Chained Heat.
This is like going through those motions 6 years later, only poorly.
Yeah, and
with an old lady Russian as a twist.
Obviously, Linda Blair is a damn smoke show, but God, you got to at least have one smoke show in your goddamn women in prison movie, and you don't at all. Not even close. It's a shocker. I mean, I'm going to give this movie a don't. We're just going to go ahead and get out of that. But if, like, you are some weird movie historian where it's like, I've got to see how ugly these people are. Well,
no, it's one of those that if you're a Whip fan, it's an absolute do because this is the worst one I've ever seen. And it's also the bar none worst soft porn attempt that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It is light years worse than any of the crap I've ever seen on Cinemax.
Tommy is better at making sex scenes. Let's just go ahead and say it. And Tommy's ass is better than the other dude's man ass that's in this. And I'm talking about Tommy Wiseau's ass here. Yeah. That's how bad this movie is.
The man in this movie had a hairy crack. And as a lady, you know, I know that men have hairy cracks. It's not a surprise, okay?
Yeah. Right.
But when I'm watching a movie, I don't want to see what the reality of what people look like. Like
you shoot around it.
Yeah, I don't want to see hairy ass crack, okay? I want to see Chris Evans' ass. All nice and smooth and nicely shaved or waxed, whatever he's doing back there. That's the ass I want to see.
That's America's ass.
It's America's ass. This was not.
Not.
Italy would not claim these asses.
Where'd you find this ass? Crete?
Crete's like, our asses are way better than that. Know where this ass came from.
That's a Corsican ass if I've ever seen one. Okay.
So the director, Gianni Siragusa.
Oh, he was a great sideline reporter for the NFL. Really funny.
Yeah, the goose died.
Yeah, I did know the goose died.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, he was great.
He made a movie apparently that's worth watching called 4 billion in 4 minutes. We'll see if it's really worth watching.
4 billion.
And that actually has Antonio Sabato Sr. in it.
Whoa, okay, all right. Yeah. I didn't know Papa A.S. was Papa
was in
Papa
Italian
Sabato.
films
No,
before he was in American soaps.
Yeah,
he was.
I didn't. Only familiar with Junior. Sabato Jr.
Weren't they both in the One Life to Live or whatever?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's got to be a thing, right? If they didn't, then the world missed an opportunity to really crap out with a real life father and son duo on daytime television.
He returns, walks through the door, and he's like, "Dad, but you died in a hospital of a heart attack. Well, did you ever see my body? It's because they were switched. And now I'm back to be your dad." But really, he's not actually his dad. He's pretend dad because the son's got money, and so he's trying to get in and on some of that sweet money. And the girlfriend knows, but she doesn't want to like get in between dad, fake dad, and son dad because this is the happiest son's ever been. But she's got to tell him. That's my storyline for Sabato and Sabato.
Junior, senior.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty good soap line. I mean, Jackie, we're moving to Burbank, and I'm writing the soaps. We're changing it all up again. I'm a soap opera writer.
It makes me love that John Candy. What is it? Delirious, where he's the soap opera writer, and he ends up in. That's such a great movie.
It is a great movie. Man, I've been thinking about John Candy a lot lately. I'm gonna have to do a deep dive. Probably watch some of those with the kiddo here pretty soon. So yeah, probably gonna squirt some tears. So I guess we should get this done. Let's just get this movie done.
Despite how sort of impossibly nothing is happening on screen. I have like 2.5 pages of notes because I'm so confused about the dialogue that doesn't go anywhere.
Word salad. Poorly
it's not
translated.
Word salad because you can't eat it.
Yeah.
You can't digest it. It's not word salad. It's like word lumps poorly presented on a non-edible surface.
Yeah, it's the romaine lettuce that's got E. coli. It's going in the trash salad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. So it's, another movie starting out at the docks. My question to you guys to start out with is the docks and the helicopter over the city, the two, like, name another way every movie starts other than those two.
Smoking a cigarette. Guy smoking,
Panning across the beach.
Beach shots, okay. I was thinking the lone car driving down the highway is another iconic. Yeah. All right. Anyways, so they're at the docks. This guy named Mark. What?
We can't, because I have my first question that I'm going to burn. Lloyd, why did you buy this?
Right?
Lloyd bought this. It's got trauma on the front end of it. Kaufman and Kurtz. Why'd you buy this?
Cheap.
Nobody else would buy it? I know why Lloyd bought it. They're like, this comes with this other pile and it's this much. And he's like, put it in the bag.
Buy two, get one free.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, this is a trauma release. Not a trauma release, but a trauma re-release, I'm sure. Which is like only our second trauma movie, so it's kind of weird. But cut to our lady, Conchita. She's hanging out in her nightgown in the bed, waiting for Mark to come in. Mark's a dock guy, goes down to the docks, buys a crate of fish, brings it back to the apartment. She's like, hey, Mark. Tell. He's like, get out of my way. I got fish.
I thought he was the fisherman that caught the fish.
Okay.
And then he comes up with a crate of fish pieces that doesn't have like a bottom on it. So he's just dripping fish juice everywhere, all over the city, the apartment building, her apartment. There's just fish smell everywhere. And then she's like, oh, it's time to get fucking sexy. And I write down my note. Tits at 2:45. And because 2 minutes and 45 seconds, the shirts start coming off. And then you're like, okay, there's going to be bad porno happening here. No. He just starts cleaning the fish in the sink. And then he gets like a bunch of black marbles out of the fish.
The fish.
What the fuck?
The fish have been stuffed with bags of diamonds.
That doesn't make any sense.
And at this point, she's laying on the bed naked. And like with her butt to the door. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a mule situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's just assuming the position.
Put it in her...
Like, you can't tell that there's anything. Like, halfway through the movie, I still don't know what the fuck he pulled out of that fish and how it got in there. They look like...
diamonds!
No, they're not!
They are diamonds!
They are diamonds.
Yeah, it says so. We'll get there.
He opens one up before they have sex and dumps diamonds in his hand.
He does the thing. You always got to show... Yeah, you must have been writing notes or something, but he does show that they're diamonds. But how did they get there? Because he cuts the fish open to get the diamonds out. Like he's filleting the fish. So the only way the fish had the diamonds was somebody caught it while it was alive and then was like, get in there. All right, then threw him back into the water hoping somebody would catch him.
Another thing that I noticed about these fish is that none of them have skin.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell if they were fish.
They're prop fish, Jackie. Of course, they're not real fish, but...
Looked like just rubbery, slimy stuff, and then some black things came out of it.
Yeah. And she's just sitting there like, dude, it's so... Mark, I'm in here naked.
Yeah.
And Mark's like, busy.
And then he comes
fishies.
in without washing the fish off of his hands, which will
Right.
take a while to get all the way non-fish hand.
Yeah, he's like,
And-
screw it, the carpet's ruined anyways.
She's like, hey, you just dripped fish juice all over the town, this apartment building, and my apartment. Put those fishy hands all over my body. And he does. They not just screw, and they're not attractive people screwing. And he's got the worst dad bod I've ever seen.
That's pretty bad.
And it's his ass takes up the camera shot for long periods of time. He's rubbing her down with fish hands.
Oh, I hear you like hot tuna. How about you come over here, big boy?
Yeah.
Oh, you like things that smell like fish, huh?
A 13-year-old boy seeing this as his first porno would be like,
Nope.
nope, I'll wait. I'll wait for something better. This
I
is the
guess
first
I'm
time that I will
asexual.
decline masturbation because of this film.
I didn't know people were asexual. This is not what I was promised it would look like.
You see that, and then you invent a new electric engine.
Dirty Pete is a filthy liar. Dirty Pete from school told me that boobs were awesome and people's butts are good. Never trusted him again.
Nope. And they both stare at the camera like, are we doing a good job? We're like, no, you're not doing a good job. More shoulder movement.
I like that she's like, hey, Mark, do you need a break? Because I'm over here. And he's like, nope, I got to get these diamonds. I got responsibilities. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, well, yeah, all right. Like, wait, what happened to you being busy? Because you just said one line ago you were too busy to bang. Now you're like, oh, okay.
Okay. Well, you know what? You're right. There is one thing I haven't got fish all over in this apartment, and it's your body.
All right, so then he showers up. Finally, he's like, I got to get all this fish off my entire body because now I'm lathered in fish oil
He
because
got
I
the
put
fish
it
on
on you.
himself, and he put it on her, and he's like, hey, come wash my back. You know how much I like it. And she's like, okay. And she washes his back with cheap bullets. And you're like, what the fuck? He just shot Mark. I didn't see that coming. I mean, he didn't put fish all over you, but that's a little bit of an extreme response.
Just leave. So she then, I guess she goes to a fence, or she's like going fencing around.
Which will lead to questions later, because it really appears like in this scene she gives him the diamonds and he gives her money and fake credentials.
Right.
And
then we get introduced to the actual owners of the diamonds. I think that Mark was going to deliver the diamonds to.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
You guys cannot skip over the elaborate setup that is two guys walk past her. One steals her purse. She shoots one of them dead cold. I think one of them got away.
Well, this is before this. So we've glossed over Vince and Sean.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't know if Vince and Sean are the proprietors of diamonds, or if they're just two guys that are in the business of stealing diamonds that have been stolen through very poor schemes.
And horses.
They don't make any sense to me. I don't know what Vince is above Sean, and Sean is cleaning up his act with horse racing.
Vince is the guy that's wearing the Groucho Marx mask, right?
Vince is the guy with the mustache. Sean does not have a mustache, and he has horse racing horses.
Right.
Thoroughbreds.
But he's also the manager of the coffee shop?
The coffee shop is there?
There's...
Because later they're sitting there having... He buys coffee, and he says... The coffee guy goes, thanks for the horse. Like... Is
That's-
coffee so expensive in Italy that they have to tip
In
with horses?
No, he gave him a tip on the horse.
Yeah, but
And he won money so he could buy coffee, I guess. Not just the sex is being done wrong in this movie, the gambling is also being done wrong. All of the vices are completely fucked up in this.
hey, Vince, meet me over here behind this door. Vince comes in. He's like, "Hey, I got your cappuccino over here. Where do you want me to put it? You know, you got to pay me in dirty horse tips. You know, your loan shark. You got a backlog of coffee over here, and if I don't get my espresso, I'm gonna send Tommy Toonies after you, and he's gonna break your toonies."
Not to mention the horse tip that he gets is from the horse owner, who's really just being optimistic. It's like, yeah, my horse is fast.
I think
and he's
it's
like,
a pretty
okay,
good horse.
I'll bet on it.
Bet on it.
And then he does. He's like,
What a
thanks
tip.
for that inside tip. And he's like, it's not. That's my horse.
I'm here to win the horse race.
I only gave you the advice, and it's not even advice. I just gave you the simple fact that I own that horse. It's mine. You then bet on it of your own accord, whether that was a tip or not, and then you spent your winnings on a cappuccino.
So you didn't bet big enough.
No.
So Vince also says that don't worry about the thing, I'll handle it. Why are you calling Sean and telling him all this then? Okay.
Why are you even calling Sean?
They're your diamonds, dude.
Did
Also, there
Sean
was,
set up the diamond heist?
Okay.
What heist? It was in a fish.
It's what the Russians are doing now, Sam. Instead of scraping out roe and making caviar, they're farming those diamond fish. It's genetically modified fish that replaces its eggs with diamonds. It's what the Russians are doing. We can do that here in the United States. I got Tommy Toonies has been talking about this goddamn diamond fish thing for 6 months. We always ignore Tommy Toonies. Maybe we should listen. It seems like it's a good business.
Yeah, all sorts of great hustles going on in the real world of just fucking stock market hustles, right? And then he's still no, I'm telling you, this diamond fish deal is the next big thing. What is the diamond fish? You stick diamonds in the fish, and then you hope that you catch them later. That seems like it's fucking idiotic. Tommy Toonies? How do you get the fish and then you have to fucking catch a fish and then jam it full of diamonds and throw it back in the ocean?
I don't know. The guy on Reddit said it was a really good business. I mean, sure, it had some downvotes, but... Yeah, so the diamond fish business is dubious to be at best, but Conchita finds another fence. She goes in. I think she gets $200K for the diamonds and then sells the diamonds and gets a passport and money, and then the guy rats her out to the cops and they bust her and send her to prison immediately. I think.
Sort of. I think. She gets mugged. So all of her shit's gone, and then she shoots one of the muggers, and the police are right there. So I don't know if they're dirty cop muggers or what's going on, but she's under arrest, and she has nothing, is what I would think. But that's not going to be the case.
Right.
Well, you forgot to mention too that she went to the bank and got a bank safety deposit box.
She got a safety deposit box.
So she got $250,000 and a passport. The guy has the shit in front of him, and he says,
Right.
Baubles like these are hard to move. And I'm like, baubles? Because I still don't know that they're diamonds as we're watching this. I'm like...
Who sells baubles?
And then my next question is, after the mugging, I'm like, did the guy... Because the other guy that stole her shit. Did he get away with the baubles or the money? And he just got away. The cops are like, you're under arrest. That guy that's the mugger, he's on his own. He's free. Run, free man.
So if you're being mugged, can you shoot somebody?
I don't know.
I think if they have a weapon, but if they just snatch your purse, I don't think so.
Yeah, if it's a bag grab and you shoot them to death, you're going to go in for manslaughter, probably.
Yeah, right.
Whereas if they had a weapon, it would be self-defense, and you're still looking at a lengthy criminal justice process.
Yeah, because if you shoot a guy as he's running away with your purse, you've basically just become a vigilante, right?
But wonder if I shout beforehand, citizens arrest, and then I start shooting.
Totally
You
okay.
can't shoot. No, you have to actually arrest him, not just shoot him.
Well, you say citizens arrest. By declaring citizens arrest, you've arrested that person, Sam. That's how that works.
If in Texas, that would work fine.
Yeah, right. Well,
in fact,
Texas,
you might not even get
meet
some
a guy-
lead into him because there's like 6 other people on the street that have already shot him once he went for your bag.
Or introduced himself. Hello, my name is Dave. Blam, blam. You're dead. Because that's Texas, you know?
God, I love Hell or High Water. Just love that movie.
All right, so she's busted. Okay, and into prison she goes. No trial, no nothing, just straight to hard prison, bad prison.
She got 2 years for murder.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Pretty good.
It's a light sentence. I mean, in her defense, she was ticked off. She was mad. So
maybe she did get the manslaughter gig. Like, okay, that guy did rob you, but you fucking shot him. I mean, really?
What the hell is this prison? It's like this movie's shot at Alcatraz, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it is a very decrepit, old, shut down prison. Clearly shut down. This place is not in operation.
Alcavag.
Uglavag.
Yay.
And like, they're not dressed in prison garb. They're not wearing stripes. They're wearing mini skirts and pantyhose.
They're wearing their own clothes. Later in a scene when there's some new people come, they're like, give us your stuff on the honor system. They're like, oh, this is all I got. And they're like, okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's
There's
fine.
a search later where they're like, yeah, there's nothing under the pillow. This bed's clean. Like, my God.
Well, that's where we're at. It's shower time. One of the
Oh
ladies.
no, we have to talk
Okay, go
about
ahead.
the epic fight.
Oh
in
my
the
God.
courtyard.
Do we
you
have to?
skip
Where-
over the fight. Good
Where
Lord.
you're like, why are they wearing pantyhose? They're in prison. And then you realize they have to wear those pantyhose or their underwears are going to go everywhere during this fight.
You think that that's a problem? I don't see how you watch this movie and you think that undies coming off is a problem.
So for the third time in my notes, I have written down, you're doing it wrong to the fight this time.
Uh-huh.
Because they're supposed to be either fighting or just tearing each other's clothes off, and they're not really doing much of either of those things. There's at one point, like, Terry, the gal that's apparently in Star Wars and the mean boss bitch of the prison yard, she just, like, pulls one of her own titties out because they're not coming out. It's like, fine, you're fucking it up. Titty. She just kind of, like, pops a titty out. And you're like, okay, I guess that's... Well, the 13-year-olds have all left. I'm only watching this for academia at this point.
And it was weird in the shower scene because they're checking the toilets, but the toilets have full-length doors on them. But I don't think that that's how prison works. I think you just shit out in the open with everybody watching.
You know, I'm not going to... I don't know. I don't know if there's stalls in prison.
There wasn't in county. You just kind of take a deuce with a bunch of people playing cards about 6 feet away.
I mean, what happened in Shawshank? Was there stalls in Shawshank? I don't remember.
I don't remember. They glossed over that bathroom part of it.
Also, you know, ladies get treated differently when it comes to the bathroom. Like, I've never been to ladies' prison, but I've been in ladies' bathrooms in bars. Don't ask, but they're nice in there. Like, they have couches and like all sorts of stuff. So I'm assuming that it's not apples to apples. The ladies' prisons probably have nicer bathrooms than the men's prisons.
Yeah, but
It's a lot easier.
they're still not gonna allow you to have a closed off area where they can't monitor you.
While you're taking a crap, what are you going to do in there?
You could be a heroin mule.
Well, you got to get that heroin out of you somehow. Where else are you going to do it? Otherwise, there would be no such thing as heroin mules. Right?
You go, hey, Jocelyn, catch this. Did you get the drugs? Nope, still just turds. Keep going. I'm sifting through there pretty good. Haven't found any drugs yet.
Jocelyn. Poor Jocelyn. What choices did you make in life to bring you to that point, Jocelyn? Did you know Sam? Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's shower time. Conchita gets suspicious about one of her cellmates and goes back into the room sneakily, sort of. She bumps into the guard on the way.
Sneaking is not sneaky.
not
the guards
sneaky.
are asleep
They're
at the
terrible.
fucking wheel.
They are fucking terrible. And she finds 2 joints underneath Terry's pillow. So she takes them.
Is that what they were?
Yeah, really not clearly, but Jackie was like, those are joints. Oh, okay. That makes sense, because when she goes back into the shower and disposes of the joints, they all crumble up and it's all potty.
But they're brown inside, so they're just cigarettes.
It's prison pot, man.
It's contraband either way.
It's contraband.
'Cause there's no smoking in this.
Right. And so the warden comes into the cell and she's like, we're going to do a search and look under Terry's pillow, and they pull up Terry's pillow and there's no joints there. So then she tortures Terry.
I am thinking, because it looks to me that that's like the a carving tool from a wood lathe that she just shoves up her ass, and she's like, "Let's find what you've got in your safe here, Terry." And
Prison pocket.
And that's pretty not good.
I don't think she's okay.
No, she's not okay. And she got strapped to the mattress that electrocutes Rambo too.
Right? And Mel Gibson for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can put a wood lathe into a person's prison pocket and have them not have internal injuries.
No, she needs to go to the infirmary, not back to bed.
Yeah.
Well, they're like, we're going to break you. Literally break your ass.
And she's like, no, it's fine. I'm made of tougher stuff. And apparently she is. She's like, I'll be fine.
And this is where we get to meet... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It's going to take more than stabbing me in the asshole with woodworking tools and letting me bleed out to tame this wild stallion. I'm anemic and dying.
Maybe she's like Jeff Bridges or Lloyd Bridges in Hot Shots, you know? Oh, it's clean pipes in there. That's not a butthole anymore. That's copper. It's just straight copper. Lost my ass in the war.
Yeah. Tongue from a basset hound.
Okay, so she gets taken back to bed, and then the warden pulls in the lady that planted the drugs, and she's like, you blew it. And she's like, no, I put them there. Somebody knows. She's like, and the warden's like, do me.
Yeah. And then her name's Sandra. She's like, I did everything you told me. And then she's like, except for this. And then it's like, it actually does that. And you're like, oh, no, not again. And then they do it wrong.
They do it wrong.
Yeah, every time somebody has sex in this movie, it's the same song. They just play it
do.
over and over and over again.
And they like get their mouths close to each other, kind of. There's a lot of belly rubbing, breathing on each other's faces.
At one point,
mouth breathing on each other's faces.
At one point, there's a naked topless lady scene where all they do is push their nipples together. Like it's like a thumb war, but with nipples.
It's like the director didn't ever know how to do it.
Right. I mean, can we get Neil Breen in here? When Neil knows how sex works better than you do.
Just shove a lathe knife up a woman's ass on screen, but convincing sex is a little too racy, I guess.
Okay. Man.
And this is the point where we start fast forwarding through these terrible sex scenes.
Oh my God.
I didn't ever do it. I would look to see how long they were because I watched this on my computer and I could just hover over. And I was like, oh, it's only another minute, whatever. I'll fucking write stuff down right now. Right now we're going to cut away to Vince and Sean again, doing things like saying things that don't matter. well, you were really careless on this last deal, Sean, and I had to do a lot of things to save face. I'm not upset with you, but there are people that are upset with you. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, Vince?
Are you talking about the diamonds? What are we doing here, Vince? What are we talking about?
There's careless and face saving, and do you want a drink, Vince? No, it's better that I sit here in the heat and threaten your horses ambiguously.
There's even like a long sequence where Vince just drinks his drink. Like a long shot of Vince drinking out of a cup.
Yeah.
Oh.
They have a cigar smoking sequence where they're doing it wrong, too, because they're not lit. Just waving around cigars and licking them. You can't even fucking smoke right. This is like Vice's done wrong, the movie.
Oh my God. All right. So here we get introduced to Robbie. He's a dude prison guard, and I think he's boning down on the warden. And it's long, and it takes forever, and it's gross. And but hey, Robbie's in this movie.
Do it wrong.
They do it wrong.
She just starts like, okay, now I'm going to kick this into overdrive, Robbie. And she just starts moving her shoulders back and forth faster, like she's agitating laundry. And her head's the laundry. He's like, that's it. That just right there. That's the stuff.
Yeah, and then she's got that weird waist gold thing on. And I'm like, how many times does that break? Like every time you get bloated, you can't get it off.
Like a girdle, you mean?
No, she just had like a gold band, like a gypsy looking thing around her waist.
The belly necklace thing.
Yeah.
Huh, I missed that.
It's really sexy.
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah, the warden. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many do you think of Robbie's hairs got caught in that? And he was like, ow, ow. Fucking take that thing off. God damn it.
Every time. All right, so back in the cell, Conchita, she is like, hey, Terry, do you want to make out? And so they make out or have sex, and, it's gross. And they do it wrong.
Doing it wrong again.
Yeah. But outside, the ladies hatch a plan to escape. They're like, all right, so we got to get guns. We got to get the warden. We got to get keys. We got to get all this stuff. But we now sort of have a plot. But
don't tell the woman leaning on the wall that looks like she just crawled out of a TV.
But they did tell her. That's what like, who else knows? And she's like, her. And she's like, I'm not spying on you. And they're like, she seems totally untrustworthy. Carry on.
Oh, God damn it. All right. The crime guys, Vince and Sean, have now found Conchita, whose name is Laura Trevor, and they've got a picture of somebody who is not Conchita, and they're like,
not her.
That's who we need to get. So they send in a plant, I think.
They send in 2 plants.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense at first, but there's 4 women that come in here, and 2 of them are plants. And one of them is a plant from Vince. I actually was able to figure this out. She's the one that has the business degree. And that's why she's immediately put onto because Vince is friends with the prison guard and maybe the warden.
Maybe the warden.
But we only ever see him talk to the guard.
Right. So this new group comes in with the business person being part of them. And I like the warden's speech here because she's like, it's clearly poorly translated, maybe. She's like, there's no cheating. If I catch any cheating or fooling, there's going to be consequences. One of the ladies like, what? That's bullshit. And so then she gets her ass beat. Like, it's bullshit that there's no cheating in prison. A, what's cheating? And B, why are you so pissed at it?
Yeah, so no mischief is where she starts at. Absolutely no mischief. Okay, that's going to work. And then if I catch you cheat, how do you cheat in prison?
When you guys are playing Duck, Duck, Goose, and you don't run the full circle around, there's got to be consequences.
But the only game they play in the yard is like a ball in the air version of volleyball.
No, they play Duck, Duck, Goose.
They play Duck, Duck, Goose.
Mm-hmm.
They did it wrong,
In one
too.
scene.
Both people ran into each other as they were getting... You're supposed to chase the goose in Duck, Duck, Goose, or run away from the goose, and they just ran into each other.
Two girls standing up, going in opposite directions around the ring,
Right.
tapping people on the head, saying, pig, sheep, salamander. You're like, that's not how you play that. And they walk into each other, fall down, helmet touch.
Bleh. Okay. All right. So Rose, one of the new recruits, she gets put into Conchita and Terry's cell, so she's now part of their group. The ladies...
Because I guess Sandra's gone.
Yeah, I guess so. And also, there's an old janitor that's now sleeping in there as well.
She's been there the whole time,
Okay.
and that poor old bag has to sleep on the top bunk. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You're making her get up there? That's fucked up. You're doing that wrong, too.
She looked like a Russian peasant.
Yeah, babushka.
A babushka, and I loved her. She was probably my favorite one out of this entire movie.
Because she didn't have any lines.
Well, she did. She had a big ranting line where she was like, "You filthy sluts, quit shitting on the floor."
Yeah. But it was all a ruse, because she's the only effective inmate, and I don't know how many of them are her children, because they said something later about, like, you people that were born here, and you're like, okay, wait
well,
what? That does
Mm-hmm.
make sense, because all the guards are just having unprotected sex with the inmates, so I guess if you're born in the prison, you have to get raised there. And
You live in the prison.
You're just a lifer.
You're a prison baby.
Prison babies.
You're part of the system now, kid.
It's better than being a baloney baby. Have you seen the baloney that has the baby on it? Like, it's made of baby? It's weird, because it has, like, this look on its face that's like the space baby, but it's almost like going, no.
I don't
You're
want to
like,
be baloney.
There's just, like, all the pictures of babies that you could put on here, but this one makes me think that you made this out of babies. And it's $1.50 cheaper than the other giant bologna log, so I'll give it a try. It wasn't very good. The gem's better.
This baby baloney's not very good, but it sure is cheap.
Yeah, no, the primo Italian bologna, that's what you're going to get, your bologna.
I mean, I
Shit's
think...
like $8 a pound. And you're like, why the fuck would bologna be $8 a pound? Try it. You're like, holy God.
Soylent Green is cheap, Sam, you know, so maybe it checks out. Maybe it is made out of babies. Okay, you got to put those babies someplace now that you can't have an abortion. Am I right? Too soon?
They weren't having, the doctor here didn't look capable of doing anything except drinking scotch at like 8 a.m. We see him in the scene. And they're fucking all the prison guards. Everybody's fucking everybody. There's probably like 100,000 babies a year out of this prison.
I'm in real life, Sam. But anyways,
Oh.
So the ladies fight over Rose. They're like, oh, no, she's mine. No, she's mine. We were just making out like just a scene ago. And then it leads to, you know what? Like
Boob touching.
It's been, what, 20 seconds since we've had a lengthy sex scene?
The 16 millimeters got like a 50 millimeter lens, so it's just like right up on the boobs. It's like the camera lens has to be like 3 to 4 inches away from these boobs, maybe 10 inches. And then there's like, just rub those nipples together, and I have to hover over to see how long this is going to happen.
Tweak.
And they're like, okay, I'll just let it play out. I'll let it play out. And then that's what she does. She's like, I don't have to choose. I just know that she's like a little bit meaner. You're a little bit nicer, so she gets to go first. Use me as your new prison fuck toy. Only do it wrong, where we just touch our nipples together.
Tweak. It's like tuning in Tokyo with an AM radio and taking another AM radio and then just going like smashing the AM radios together. Tune in Tokyo.
You could just, if they had carpet in the prison, they could rub their feet on it, and then they could shock each other's nipples with each other's nipples. And that might be exciting, but this isn't.
Oh my God. Elsewhere, our babushka lady, I think she's the janitor as well. She has made a mold out of clay that she got her hands on somehow. I guess she's using clay bars to clean up the freaking prison poop floors, and gives the ladies the key so that they can break out of prison. And that's the you guys are dirty slut scene that Jackie apparently liked. And then Conchita goes to the doctor and is put in the waiting room. And then I guess that's where she lives for the rest of the movie.
No, so earlier in a scene, Robert, or Rob, depending on which scene you're in, he goes to her when she's peeling potatoes at the most leisurely fucked up pace I've ever seen anybody peel potatoes. Like, oh, those potatoes will get peeled next Thursday. Fuck. She's like taking nicks out of them. Like, she's doing that wrong.
It's like my son was peeling potatoes.
He comes up to her and he's like, you're going to be sick tomorrow. And she's like, okay, why? And he's like, just cause. Do what's good for you. Otherwise, I'll do what's good for you. And she's like, okay. So she calls in sick to prison because you can fucking do that.
Right.
And they're like, oh, here's a private room with a nightgown. And she's like, okay, what's this about? And they're like, oh, one of the guards is going to come fucking knock you up. Because that happens here all the time. And then we turn the babies into bologna.
Okay.
Okay.
So Robbie comes in and he confesses that he knows of the jailbreak plans. So they've got a rat, and then they bone.
Yeah, and he tells her who the rat is. And she's like, oh, Ratty McRatterson that was like, I'm not spying on you so that I can rat on you, and I'm also the warden's personal waitress. I have no suspicion.
And also the planter from the beginning is also in the hospital or the infirmary, and she sneaks over and looks through the keyhole and sees them porking, so then she takes like 10 minutes to rub one out.
She does it wrong. She starts by rubbing her belly, and then she just has the worst time getting into her own pantyhose. And then never really gets them off enough to do anything. And she just can't quite flick the bean. She keeps trying, but instead, it's like her hand is like a plane trying to land on an aircraft carrier. It just has to like touch down and then, no, I didn't get the hook, so I got to go back out. Does that like 5 or 6 times, runs into the pantyhose, can't quite figure it out. So then she takes her other hand and she just starts smashing her own face. She's like, yeah, this will do it instead. Those people in there are fucking wrong, so I'm going to masturbate by fucking up my own face. This goes on for about 4.5 minutes.
Way too long.
It climaxes with Robbie not being able to get out from underneath Conchita, so he just starts doing sit-ups. Because that's what sex is like. If you saw this and you were like, maybe this is what Neil Breen saw when he was 13 and why he doesn't really know how to do it right.
I think he does better.
Yes, getting your clothes off and just hugging is more accurate than what's happening here.
I mean, who doesn't like hugging with your clothes off? God damn it.
Everyone thinks that's 5 thinks that's what sex is. Then a fucking bird shows up with a baby. And you're like, oh, at least I got a hug.
Okay, so the warden, she pulls in Robbie, and they're going to meet up later tonight because she's also boning Robbie. Back at the track, there's some more word salad. Yay! I mean, you loyal? Are you going to be loyal?
There's a couple of times where the prison warden is getting suspicious of Robbie's sexual, or at least his fidelity to their dubious relationship. Uh-huh. And she bails him out like, oh, just give me a kiss and you can leave. And he's like, good, because I ran out of sperm. I just did a bunch of sit-ups and I can't have any more of that.
So he goes back to the infirmary to bone, and they do. And the ladies, elsewhere, the ladies are like, now's the time we leave. And so they get everybody out of the prison cell, except for one lady has to stay behind. And she's like watching them go. And she's like, why can't I be part of prison break? Or maybe she knows that this isn't actually, it's a ruse. Because long story short, they drown the spy in the sewer.
They drown this spy in shit.
Yeah.
And then instead of like, okay, we found her, who smells like shit? They don't do that. That'd be my first, like, if I was one of the guards, I'd be like, the room over there smelled like shit because they can't go into the showers and turn them on without suspicion. But they could here because you can just wander around wherever you want, whenever you want at this prison. So they probably took showers.
Yeah. Well,
the guards falling asleep and be like, shower quieter. I'm trying to sleep sitting up.
They know it's not Conchita because she smells like fish. So,
yeah. And did you notice in the shower scenes that the canned audio was like a bingo party?
Yeah. Yeah, right?
They're in the shower like, ooh, and then somebody just goes, bingo. You're like, wait, that's not the right. There had to be something better on the collection of audio that you started from for the sound of this. Okay.
All right, so the warden comes out. She tells all the prisoners that all privileges are revoked. No visitors, no phone calls, no contact with the outside at all until the rats who murdered Rebecca are found.
There isn't any of that to begin with.
There was never visitors.
Alcavage Island. It doesn't. They're like, oh, we're revoking all your privileges. And they're like, the only privilege we have is that we get to wear our own clothes.
Right.
So if you want us to strip naked so you can come bang us all wrong in a line, that's the only punishment you have left.
Oh, no, you're going to take away our torture and rape? Oh, bummer. I mean, we don't have it good here, warden.
I also like that there was a warden had a line in there when Robbie and her find the dead snitch, Rebecca, who I wrote down as, Rebecca, I think your name's Dead Becca.
That's terrible. That's awful, Sam.
That's terrible, Sam.
In poo. It's like an overture by,
Dead Becca in poo.
Schmerin Copeland. Aaron, Dead Becca in poo. Number 4.
Movement 6. Get it?
She's
movement, because of poop. Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of movements in there. She got stuffed into them. She's like laying there dead in lagoon water, and she pulls the blanket off, and she looks at Robbie, and she's like, there's no point in looking at her now.
Right?
When would there have been a point of looking when she was still alive? You'd be like, oh, she's alive. You can look at her.
Look at her.
Oh, that woman is dead, covered in shit. Don't even bother looking at her. There's no point in that. What?
You're not exaggerating. It is exactly like that. There's no point. There's no point in looking at her. She's all used up.
What are you talking about?
Before. I liked looking at her before, but now, no. Okay, well, I'll just cover her back up then, ma'am.
Okay, we'll just leave her here. Because they do.
Yeah,
they just leave her there because later in the movie, people will be getting stuffed into coffins, and she ain't fucking one of them.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they just rolled her ass back into the sewer.
It's just blunk.
They didn't.
Well, if we can't look
like,
at her.
oh, no point in messing with that. Just leave it there.
Leave it for the rats.
If we push her back into the sewer, eventually she'll get flushed out and somebody will look at her. Just leave her there. We don't come into this room, so it'll be fine. Nobody will look at her that way. You'll never see eyes again, Dead Becca. By God as my witness, you'll never gaze into another person's soul. Dead Becca.
And the murder scene in what follows is to show why the lockdown was so dubious. Because later, Rosie will do some snooping about and other things, and she'll come back, and she has to knock to get into her prison room because these prison rooms lock from the inside.
Right.
not the outside,
Yep.
and that causes locking this place down to be a real tricky problem.
Okay, so Conchita, she goes back to the infirmary to bone, and she's waiting, and then the person with the business background comes in and fucking judo chops her. Not even like Vulcan neck pinch, she just judo chop, straight up lazy judo chops her in her shoulder, and I guess conks her out, but the problem is Conchita was already passed out. She was sleeping when she walked in. And then getting hit in your shoulder is like,
They just left this on the cutting room floor. They forward cut past it because in the movie world, she's like, wake up. And she won't wake up. So she like judo chops her and she's still asleep. And she's like, wake up. And then she judo chops her again. She's like, I can't get her to wake up. I keep judo chopping her to sleep, but she won't wake up. After about 7 or 8 times of that, she's like, fuck, I'll just tie her up.
Right.
So she does.
Okay. That would have been, continuity would have been much better if they'd left that scene in, Sam. Thank God for deleted scenes on Amazon Prime. So she wakes her up. And
there was no scenes deleted here. They used every ounce
are you
of footage
kidding me?
that they shot.
Right.
Yeah,
There was a
there's
scene
so many
of a guy
out-of-focus
drinking.
shots.
There was a scene of a guy drinking water. Like a
They
cup
use shots
of water.
from other movies.
Yeah.
Just to like fill to get to 95.
So she wakes her up and she's like, tell me where the diamonds are. And she's like, I sold
them to a guy and then somebody else stole the money and my passport that I got.
Go to the guy I sold them to, who may have called something to do with your bosses, and they sent a guy to steal the money. So either way, I don't have anything, because that's how selling stuff works.
Yeah.
But
instead, she's like, I'll never talk.
I'll never talk. Okay, well, I'm going to give you some truth serum.
Yeah, she's got sodium pentothal, I guess. It's really shitty because it doesn't do anything to her acting. She's exactly the same through this whole sodium pentothal sequence, where then Rosie sneaks out and she's like, or wait, no, Robbie comes in.
Right.
And the plant from Vince, this is Vince's plant. She's like talking about how there's more of them than there are of her, and it's Hydra and all this other bullshit.
She says,
and
I am
Robbie comes in
Legion.
and he's like, what are you doing to my prison fuck toy? And she's like, die, fucker! And she kills Robbie, and we're like, yay, he's dead finally.
Yay.
And I don't know if anybody noticed this, but she calls him John during the shot.
Oh, good.
Die, John. I never met you. My name is Robbie.
My name is Robert, or Robbie, depending on which scene I was in.
Now,
Take that, Ben Kingsley.
Don't look at him. Don't look at him. He's not worth it.
There's no reason to look at him now. He's dead. Just try not to trip over him. He'll be there a while.
But don't look at him while you're trying to avoid him, because that's just a waste of time.
And then Rosie is just gotten out of bed and started wandering freely throughout the prison.
Well, no, they're
under
doing the break.
lockdown.
They're doing the break. They're on their way to the armory because Terry gets out. All three of them go, and she does a judo chop on a guard to conquer out. Like, where did all these judo chops come from suddenly?
Judo chop.
And so Rosie's like, well, hold on. We can't do this without Conchita. I'm going to go back and pick her up. That's why Rosie's wandering around.
Yeah. So then but either way, the prison is under lockdown, and they just like go, okay, let's get up and wander around the prison that's under lockdown. Good thing the door's locked from the inside under this maximum security prison island thing.
See, here's the thing that you missed. You must have been taking notes, is because back in the scene where the warden is telling them about their privileges, she's like, okay, there's going to be no visitors, no phone calls, no jet boats, no cocaine parties, no looking at dead people. And somebody raises their hand and is like, yes, but can we still wander around at night without supervision? Well, of course you can. I mean,
the door's
I'm
locked
not
on
an
the inside.
animal.
We can't get in there unless you let us in, and weird stuff happens all the time. Also, no talking. They should say that. No talking. And then they're like, they start talking to each other immediately.
Right.
You're like, What? And then they're like, okay, the no talking thing isn't working. Just, shut up, no talking. Back to your cells without talking. They're still talking. We can't get them to stop talking. Okay, well, you know what? Stop bunching up. Stop bunching up. You're bunching up on the entrance too much. No bunching up. Bunching up.
All right, so Rosie comes in. She picks up Rob's rifle, and she fucking butts the lady.
She doesn't.
Business.
She broadsides.
She's fucking.
She's like, I have a gun too. I'm not going to shoot you though. I'm just going to broadside you with the surface area of this gun, which will definitely knock you out.
Right in the shoulder. If this movie's taught me anything, it's that shoulders are the direct nerve ending bundle to the brain. Like you hit somebody in the shoulder, instant conk out. That's how Spock
you shake
did
your
it.
shoulders around, sperm flies everywhere. Sit-ups, oh yeah, that's hot stuff. The shoulders are moving, therefore the sex is happening.
All right, so the other ladies, they've gotten into the armory at some point, and they got guns, and they go and they grab the warden, and she's like, just let me go, and I won't tell anybody. I won't tell anybody. Wait, you're the warden. Who would you tell? Yourself? Hey, it's them. Punish them.
Yeah.
I'll never forget you exist.
And then the one gal that was born in prison that seems to be moderately attractive that I can't tell if is or not, because the 16 millimeter is out of focus again. She's going to stab her and she's like, oh no, stabbing isn't slow enough. I'm like, oh God, what's slower than that? In the right places. Come on, I mean, you're fucking deranged, bitch. So to stop her from stabbing her, and then they go into the around the corner, and all of a sudden the alarm goes off. I don't know who the fuck sounded the alarm.
Sounded the alarm? It never comes into play.
There's no one that knows anything at
Robbie's
this point.
dead.
Robbie has been shot.
Yeah.
There's no one to sound unless the Russian peasant has just been like, man, this prison break's boring as fuck. I'm gonna sound the alarm. Speed this shit up.
Oh, I know what it was. Somebody was playing a game of Uno and they were cheating. And hey, no cheating! No cheating!
Pocketed a wild card. So the alarm goes off, and the warden's like, "You'll never get me alive," and they're like, "We won't." And she just fucking shoots her. And then she falls down the stairs for a really long time, and they just like watch it. And they're like, no one can tell us not to look at the dead bodies because you're the dead body. There is something to see here, ma'am, who is dead.
War dead. See? Remember when dead Becca? Now you're war dead. We're looking at you.
Stop blocking the stairs with your dead body. Oh, wait, you can't because you're dead.
You're a fire hazard now.
Yeah. Way to be a dead fire hazard. Your parents hate you.
Oh, shit. All right, so that's the end of that. They don't freaking escape. They just kill the warden, push her down a flight of stairs, and then they go back to bed.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the plan's going to work out great now. And the girl who was born in prison is like, I have done my job here. And you're like, you're the one that needs to escape. You should be escaping now. This whole thing was for you. This doesn't make any sense. So instead, the new plan has been hatched so this is part of their plan, right? Because there has to be coffins. So people have to die. So their plan was that Robbie was going to come in on the plant, nailing Conchita with sodium pentothal and getting shot. And then having a minor prison break that isn't a prison break, and then shooting the warden and leaving her at the bottom of the stairs. Otherwise, this plan doesn't work out at all.
Well, I don't really think that was the plan. I think that after the warden fell down the stairs haphazardly, and they all made fun of her,
for a long
then they
time.
were like, dude, we need to rethink this. But the thing is they didn't rethink it enough to think, well, there's 4 of us, so we got to kill 2 more people.
Right.
So only 2 people
3
are
people
escaping.
go into this goddamn coffin room, and there's only 2 coffins. And nobody goes, wait a minute, there's 3 of us. 2 coffins. Or, I guess the plan is to lay side by side. What the...
But there's like 5 of them that want to get out.
Right.
So they have to draw straws so that some of them get out by being dead.
Yeah. And then the other thing is they take the corpses, Robbie and the warden, and they shove them behind this fake wall that is clearly a fake wall into like another room.
And then they're like, wow, Conchita, this is an amazing plan. I'm so glad you knew about this fake wall. And it's like, it's not a fake wall. There's just some shit leaned up against a hole in the wall.
Into another room.
This prison's a fucking disaster. And then they toss them on top of each other. And I write down that they died like they lived on top of each other.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So then Terry climbs into the warden's coffin, and Conchita's like, "Is it nice in there? Is it comfy? You got enough leg room? Well, here's your oxygen. Now die!" Stabs her in the throat like 30 times.
She stabs her just viciously, like 73, 82 times, something like that. And you're like, well, okay, that's enough. She's good. She's
died like 6 minutes ago.
Maybe she did it so that she would for sure not try to get out of the coffin.
Once she's dead?
Well, no, because if you only stab them a couple of times, then they have the opportunity to try to climb out.
And if
she would have climbed out, no, but if she would have tried to climb out, blood would have gotten everywhere. She might have wrecked the coffin, thus killing off their plan, right?
Okay.
It's a dead giveaway, so she has to stab her multiple times to make sure that she is detonated.
Like,
so you're saying that the only thing in this movie that wasn't done wrong was the stabbing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take it.
I don't know, man. I think you stab somebody in the throat as many times as she did. There's no throat line. That head has come off. She has severed that person's head.
She stabbed her in the heart and in the lungs and in the arms. I'm with Jackie. She was just like immobilizing her by stabbing her everywhere that could move.
Okay, all right. And also, why? Why?
Because she's a bitch.
Dude, they're all bitches, Jackie.
No, she was the queen super bitch, dude.
I just don't like you.
She had to go.
Fuck, man.
And then
go your separate ways after you get out of prison. That is still not clear on how you're going to get out of prison.
Well, no, I think Conchita says to Rosie at this point, it's going to take all 4 tanks for me to get out of here.
But they only brought 2 tanks.
Have split the tanks. There's only 1 tank that gets put in the coffin with her, so whoops.
Yeah.
No, both tanks get put in.
Yeah,
but here's the deal.
Cheetah's got 2 tanks.
The tanks only last for about 2 hours.
Okay.
And the boat's not there.
Right.
And how long does it take to get back to land?
Right.
And they still have to unload the boat.
Right.
And then load everything back up. Like, you only got 4 hours of oxygen in there. You're going to be dead.
You're dead.
You got like way more than that because it's supposedly sealed. If it's not sealed, you can survive in there for, an hour or 2, something like that. So you wouldn't put it underneath your legs and have like nostril tubes. You just put it next to you. And when you start to feel lightheaded, you just juice the coffin with some oxygen.
Right.
So you start to feel lightheaded again. And you'd be able to stretch that out for a long period of time before you before the tanks ran out, because you're not actually using a scuba system at that point. You're just reinvigorating the air with oxygen.
Except when Rosie puts the tank in and turns it on, she's got it on like full leak mode because you can just hear it going. So she's actually got about 20 minutes if the tank is full. And the tank isn't full because guess what? This is all a goddamn double cross.
It's a double cross, I guess, because after Conchita's in there and she's like, I can't figure out how to use it. It's under my legs. Why did I put it there? That's fucking stupid. I'm going to die. And then she dies immediately the second the tank goes out. She's like, oh, I know I'm going to suffocate, so I'm going to force myself to suffocate faster.
I guess no one gets to look at me anymore.
And then this was the weird thing. She goes, "Where's the key?" And I thought, because she's trying to fumble with the oxygen tank, and I thought, what key? You need a key to make those work?
What key?
What key?
What key?
Okay.
Is exactly the right question, Jackie. There's a key?
But then in the next scene, Mother Russia is in the top bunk. She hasn't even taken full advantage of getting into the bottom bunk and claiming it as her own. Because she knows that these guys are not coming back, right?
I think she likes it up there.
Yeah, so, they might not be as wicked as we thought. And then Rosie gets into her bunk and she just starts giggling and laughing. And then we get the whole double cross reveal that she's let the air out of the other tank.
And stole the key.
Sealed her in there to die. Yeah. And then we see this key and she's kissing it like, yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is that for?
I guess
is that for the oxygen tanks?
Is the key to the safety deposit box that doesn't have diamonds in it? And
because they were
that Conchita put into a secret wall that's inside. She brought it into prison and then was like, oh, hey, where's your secret wall at? Because I need to put a key in it. And they're like, we keep that over there. It's secret. And so she snuck a key into the secret wall. And then what the hell is the key? There's nothing in the safe deposit box.
Unclear. Also, there's not going to be another boat for 2 weeks, so she has to cornhole that key for 2 weeks before her dubious release situation is presented.
Right. And then on the other side, what was Conchita's plan? She's in a goddamn coffin that is sealed shut. They don't send you off and then, oh, hey, let's open up this coffin and let whatever's out of it. You need somebody on the other side to unseal the thing that you are in. You have, by climbing into that coffin, you signed your own death sentence.
She did make a phone call before she left.
To who?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
To who?
It doesn't ever say. She's just like, look, I'm going to be on the boat. I'll be in the coffin. Oh, you got to open the coffin.
Because the only people that are at the boat, the pickup of the coffin, is Sean and Vincent. They want her dead. She stole the diamonds from them and sold them.
Sean's not there.
Sean's not even there.
It's his man, because the guy's like, yeah, this is the thing that came off the boat. And they're like, okay, well, pay him for it. Then he stabs him, and the guy's like, I just a guy that unloaded a boat. This is extreme punishment for a guy who unloaded a boat. I'm dead now.
He was being a little pushy about getting his money.
Oh.
Well, I mean, who works for free?
Exactly.
So then Rosie, she finds fucking Sean riding horseback through the woods, because now she's out of prison and has stopped and picked up a horse as well. And like, where's Sean at? Well, he's out riding in the woods. Oh, okay. Because I guess we were always in love together, and he's also already rich. And now we're more rich because of diamonds that were not in a safety deposit box because they got sold. I don't know.
Where's Sean? He's killing his own thoroughbred by riding it around in the hills. Here's another thoroughbred to ride around in the hills.
Right. And that's the fucking end of the movie. What?
And just in case you weren't sure, it's got a big the end.
Oh, thank God. What the hell was this pile of garbage?
That's your first question?
That's really my only question, because we aren't going to... The diamonds have been sold. There's no movie. This movie is so bad, Sam, that it undoes itself and says that there's a movie here, but the movie doesn't ever exist. This is Monster A Go-Go.
It's very Secret Agent Super Dragon, which is why I picked it. Because I was like confused while I was drunk picking this. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to find anything any better than this right now. My God, this doesn't make any sense.
I think it's the worst movie we've ever seen.
It's the worst movie we've done for sure, because it's the worst not porn ever that I've seen.
Okay,
but
all
let's,
right.
let's start with
I'll
some questions
save it for,
on.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start with this one because I got 4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Vince is going to take Sean and Rosie out, right?
Yeah, they're dead. Even if they have the diamonds, which they don't, because the diamonds got sold, I'm assuming back to Vince.
I'm assuming back to Vince.
And $250,000? That's how much those diamonds were worth. That whole movie is about $250,000. They're not good diamonds.
Well, the broker guy said that they were worth $500,000.
Oh, whoop-a-doo-doo.
But at this point, I don't think it's enough money to save this poorly ran racetrack horse establishment.
No.
We're rich. They're like little kids that have no concept of money. We're rich. We never have to work. $500,000. Yes, I know that this is 1984, but what? No, you're not rich.
Well, she was just a hooker trying to get out of Rome, so it seemed good for her on the front end. The rest of it is dubious, which leads to... We've covered this, but question 2. The fence still has the diamonds, right?
I think that they're like that fence has got to be tied into Vincent somehow. Like, hey, I got these diamonds. I know that you're into the diamond thing. The lady that came in and brought them, she smelled like fish. And I know that you got that fish diamond thing going on. So maybe these are your fish diamonds? Are these your fish diamonds? He's like, let me do a sniff test. Yep, those are my fish diamonds. Thank you, Phil, the fish diamond fence.
Yeah.
I owe you one.
Leading to question 3. Or was it that we are to assume that fish just have diamonds in them?
There's no fish diamond business. This is just nature. They're like clams and there's a pearl inside.
The fish diamonds are what they make the saw blades out of. That's why they're worth less than the jewel diamonds that are the same fucking diamonds.
Man, those fish are really stressed out because of all the mercury so that, you know, their guts are just compressing so hard that they churn their eggs into diamonds.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Okay. Final is really a question. It was a question. It started its life as a question. But now that we're here, rather than this was Sean's plan, question mark, we have to analyze Sean's plan. It starts with fish diamonds.
Fish diamonds.
And then knowing that the fish diamonds will get stolen by either a girlfriend or a hooker girlfriend or something like that, taken to the fence. The fence would then not actually take the diamonds up front and just be like, you're on the honor system. Here's $250,000 and a way out of Rome with a fake name. I trust you to bring me the diamonds.
Right?
Then, knowing that she's just going to leave with the diamonds, having dirty cops set up outside of the diamonds so that she can go to prison and that he can put a plant in against Vince's plant to steal the key to the diamonds. The defense is still sitting in his office, twiddling his thumbs, waiting for these diamonds that he knows in good faith are going to show up eventually.
Uh-huh.
And that Vince won't figure out that his plant wasn't killed because Sean's plant was better at nipple touching so that she can go back to the horse farm and they escape by horseback and Vince never finds them. Is that Sean's plan?
No, I think Sean, again, going back to when she rides up and says, I'm rich. She never says, I found these fish diamonds in a safety deposit box because of not how business works. But we're rich. And he's like, wait, you found fish diamonds? Give me those diamonds. And then he takes them to Vince and he's like, well, where'd you get these? And, well, my girlfriend, she found them. So I'm bringing them back because that was my job, because Mark was supposed to meet me with the diamonds and he never showed up. Right. And so these are your diamonds. I've tracked down the diamonds. Here you go, sir. And he's like, well, you know what you got to do, right? And Sean goes, Oh, that's already done. She sleeps with the goldfish. Rosie is dead in any... No, Sean's not riding off into the sunset. It's $500,000, Sam. This is their fish diamond business. She is dead.
What happened to the 250,000 large?
The street rat has it.
Was it the guy at the beginning that he was talking to? Is that the thing? He's going to frame her for the fish diamond heist, but all along, the all too optimistic and trusting Fence had floated out the 250K, and that was the real heist, was he's like, just go steal this lady's purse. All the money for the diamonds are actually in the purse. The rest of this is going to be horse shit. And I know, because I've got racehorses.
Jackie, you got a theory here?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't know. This was just, it took all of my brain power just to put some things together about this movie and what was fucking happening. And I mean, I give it a fucking awful. FA, new rating. Okay. Fucking awful.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Final recommendations, Jackie. Is that as much as you got to say, or you want to add some stuff?
Fucking awful for fuglies that were all over the place. Terrible sex scenes. They weren't. I mean, it just kind of was like, oh god. It's like watching a dog try to hump another dog, but he's humping their side.
But they're both weird. Those like contestants in the world's ugliest dog competition.
Yeah, it was just weird, and I hated it, and I don't know. I wanted everybody to die,
including Sam.
Except for the old babushka lady. I wanted her to get out. I wanted her to be the only one that actually escaped, and she got the diamonds. That would have made it all worth it.
No, she dies in prison. She dies in prison. No, do not from me. As I was about to say, because this movie, my 1-star rule, I never give 1 star unless the movie is bad and commits one sin. Tells us that the movie does not exist. Monster A Go-Go. That's the very few ones, but Monster A Go-Go is the one I always think of because I hate that goddamn movie.
It's the benchmark for not movie.
This was it was sitting at 2 stars when I walked into this room to record this podcast. After breaking it down, this movie does not exist. There's nothing is here that happens because the diamonds are not owned by anybody except for the Fence. They went to the Fence. There's no movie. All these people are chasing around. Oh, we're going to get these diamonds. There's no diamonds.
The Fence ran the bag snatch on the phone earlier. He double dipped. He took the diamonds. He got his money back. He probably gave that guy 50 G's for his fucking trouble. The rest of it is a bunch of lampooning around.
So after talking it, this is now a 1-star film. I don't know if we've ever had a movie on the podcast that I've ever assigned 1 star to. I usually find something redeeming in all of our films. We've done a couple 2 stars, a lot of 3 stars. This might be our first 1 star. This movie sucks. Sucks. It stinks. Get it out of here. Sam, go.
Because of everything you just said, it's like you have to watch it now because it's so bad. It's so bad.
You sadist.
It's the worst sex. It's the worst. It's the worst everything. This is bad.
It's really bad.
It's really bad. It was hard to watch. Like, that's what I give it a only the brave. Only where eagles dare.
This has got a 4-star rating on IMDb users. 4. Enough people, 4. And that's the average of all votes. Some people actually gave this, like if I'm giving it a 1, in order to cancel that out, somebody had to give it a 7.
Yeah.
Somebody liked it.
Usually when I know a movie's going to be a don't, my kind of, if I lose attention and I have to pause halfway through or before, when I pause it, and if it's under or at halfway, I know that the movie is in don't territory. This one got looked at 15 minutes or 23 minutes in, because I watched the first 22 minutes. And when watching it sober, I was like, my God. Like a minute after I recovered ground, I was like, this is really, this is bad.
What the hell did I do?
What the hell did I do? But if you're one of our listeners that likes the fun, exciting ones, do not fucking touch this. But if you're one of our listeners that
Bottom
is
100
MST 3K and fan of that sort of thing, like the worst of the fucking worst.
This is the worst.
This
of the
is
worst.
all of a sudden a must.
Yeah, this is the worst of the worst. I'm thinking the second worst movie on the podcast, or let's just say one of the worst that we always go back to, is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Which would you rather watch, Jackie? Mortal Kombat Annihilation or this?
Mortal Kombat.
It's not even a question.
It's not questionable.
Like, wow.
I'd watch that again.
Wow. You'd rather... That's how bad this thing is it's worse than Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That is an achievement.
Let me put it this way. When we started watching this, if we were all going to be in the same room recording afterwards, I would have eaten so many beans and just sat right next to Sam and just shit my pants. Just to be a dick.
I would have opened up...
Because I'll be like, I had to suffer for an hour and 95 minutes for this movie, and now you're going to suffer the wrath of my ass.
I would have opened up a can of sardines, put my hands into the sardines, squished them all up, and then just rubbed it all over Sam's face, right in his mustache, in his hair. And he would have been like, well, thanks, man. Hey, look at that, a diamond.
A diamond. They come in these. It's like a Cracker Jack box, these fish.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our episode. Next week we are off because Jackie is actually going to be back in Boise and she's going to be hanging out with Sam. And so they don't got time for me palling around.
And I'm not even going to eat any beans.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I'm going to mind my manners because I'm going to be a guest.
Yeah. I guess you can't poop in his bed. That would be probably pushing it. Hey, I left you something.
Yes. I upper deck your toilet.
Oh, God. Also, like, you just like, okay, well, I have got a real trigger here to become a disgusting blob of human being. All I have to do is eat beans. It's like Popeye and spinach. Right? Fork down a can of refrieds, and all of a sudden I'm like X-Men villain.
Yeah, right. Okay, get to the chopper.